and welcome back to the Colour Cave, where we like to play with art stuff. My name is Jem, and today's video is going to be something slightly different. Before we get started, today in the stash shop I have a restock of the A6 Sea White postcard pads and also the multi-packs of Posca pens, which are very pretty indeed. All the pretty colours, and they are available in 1M and 3M as well if you like something a bit chunkier. Over the last little while I have been inundated with subscription boxes between Cavemas and the boxes that didn't make it on time, etc. And I am actually feeling overwhelmed by the number of boxes I have. So I've decided today what we're going to do is a little bit of brainstorming and creative process type stuff. It's something I don't show a lot of on the channel, and it's something that I was about to say guilty of not doing. That makes it sound like I'm being a bad girl. It would be better if I spent more time brainstorming and thumbnailing and that kind of thing. So I've got my sketchbook here because obviously I'm going to use that. The boxes that we're going to be thumbnailing and brainstorming for today are the December scroller box. This was the one with the black paper in it that I was really excited about. The January sketch box, which was the one with the powders in it. If you remember, it had these, some people said they're like Brushel powders. That was the box with those in. The January palettefull box, which arrived a few days ago. Now it didn't come with a set of 30 Neo colours. It came with a set of 10. Obviously I have the set of 30, so I'm going to be putting the set of 10 into the stash shop probably next week sometime, and obviously just replace that with my own ones that are already used. There's no point in opening something when you've already got it. So yeah, they'll be going into the stash shop. So I was really excited about that box, and the palettefull basically redeemed themselves. So I've got that as well. I also have art snacks. That was an additional box that happened by accident, and there's some toned paper and some soft pastels and some grey Pigma microns. So I've got that as well. And if you remember way back in Upcrate, at one point it might even have been the November Upcrate, I think. We had quite an odd set of supplies, but in with it came these acrylic paints, and I was quite excited about them because they seemed to be very good quality, and I was quite keen to try them out. So I would also like to try and thumbnail or brainstorm something for these to do as well. I think that would be kind of nice. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 projects. Once we've done a bit of this today, I want you guys to go down into the comments and tell me which thumbnail is your favourite, and we will take that through to completion in a separate video. So I'll get this cleared up and we'll make a start with the scroller box. Right, so just a quick reminder then, we've got these lovely Spectrum Noir metallic paint markers, I've got a jelly roll, I've got a sketching pencil in a 2B, and I also have a black Posca pen. But what we have to remember is when we're trying out our ideas, out of the darkness is the prompt. So we have a prompt with this box, but we are going to be working on black paper, so when we're sketching out our ideas we need to keep that in our mind. So when I'm doing stuff like this, first of all, the first thing that I like to do, the first thing I like to do is have 2 pages together like this, and as it stands, I've got a page on its own, but I've actually got a plan for that page, which is fine. So if I turn over here, then this is giving me 2 pages side by side, and it's basically so that we can go all the way across. Now, being left-handed, my version of all the way across is starting here and ending up here. So if I have anything that looks even remotely finished, it tends to be up in this corner or down here. Obviously, if you're right-handed, you're going the opposite way. It's fine. And I'm just going to put a little bit of a tip on this sketching pencil because it's come manufacturer sharpened with a flat bit on the top, which drives me absolutely insane. Okay, so for the purposes of this challenge, we have our 2B sketching pencil. Now, I did mention it at the time, I'm actually not that keen on these pencils, and it's just because it's got a round barrel. I like to use the Derwent graphic pencils. They have a hexagonal barrel. I'm pretty sure it's all the same stuff. So this isn't going to be as obvious on our black paper, which is good for an under sketch type idea, but in terms of integrating it as part of our finished piece, it's probably not going to be that exciting or particularly possible. We've got this black Posca, and we can vary the line width a little bit. Again, on black paper, I'm thinking this is more like a corrector pen. We have our Jelly Roll Moonlight, so this works well on black paper and it's a very attractive shade of purple. It's not 3 markers all in the same nib size, which makes things moderately more complicated. So the gold one's got this chisel, which we can manipulate to give us a couple of different line widths. The bronze one's like a big bullet tip. And obviously with these we can fill areas in, no problem. And then the silver one, this was the one that I wrecked the nib on. But it's like teeny tiny thin, so you could almost use that like a fine liner. So the first thing that pops into my head is, for this prompt, the first thing that pops into my head out of the darkness is someone climbing out of a hole in the ground. But I'm thinking like a perspective sort of idea. So if this was say this is our sheet of paper, or maybe like a zombie hand coming out of a grave or something, you know. But we could have like, I'm thinking about the colours that we've got as well. I don't know if a purple zombie hand's all that appropriate, to be honest. The other thing as well is I'm terrible at drawing hands. So there's that. That might actually be quite a good challenge though. Or maybe there's just a, like, maybe someone's been trapped in a cave underground or something. And obviously the darkness is going to be this cave part here round the hand, and the hand is like whoosh, coming up through it. I'll say the copper seems like a sensible colour for the ground, and then for the actual hand could maybe do that in gold, and we use this as a fine liner, which would just leave the purple. And maybe if we wanted, we could use the purple as like a light source, not actually there. Or alternatively, we could switch the gold and the purple. The gold could be the light source. The purple could be the hand. So we're back to this sort of zombie hand idea. And the gold could then be a highlight. I'm just making this really complicated for myself, but that would work. You know, because you would have, depending on what position you decide you're putting the hand in, you would have, the gold would be a really good reflection colour, and we could maybe even have some gold reflections on some of the ground around the hole. Best way to do this, model it yourself. Really glad I've got 2 hands. I'm wondering how long I can stay in this position as well. I think as if I've chopped my fingers off. I like it. Maybe we could have more of a side-on view, because I'm thinking as well about the ground. If we come in from that, the ground's going to look quite flat round about it, and I don't know if I like that or not. If this is the edge, and then maybe you just see the thumb poking up like that. And then the second one, like so obviously like, if that was the right hand, then we could have the left hand just holding on. Oh, that's a better idea. I like that a lot. Okay, yep. And then we're going to have some stuff. I feel like it should be rock almost. And this needs to be like absolute pitch black in here. Like absolute pitch black. So let's try and refine this down a little bit now. Now we do have to decide, are these going to be zombie hands, or if we decided on purple with gold, I would say they're probably going to have to be zombie hands. Maybe the fingers would be slightly wonky as well. And maybe there's just like bones poking out. I have no idea. I know they've got like little weird knuckle joints on them. Yeah, maybe that one looks as if it's been like bent backwards. And then the fingers that are coming over the side, they could be the same. Like, it's as if like it's like a molehill, you know, and it's popped all the dirt out the side. Maybe that's what happened though. Maybe they've emerged themselves. Maybe that hole wasn't there and they've pushed their way out, although it wouldn't be that big if that was the case. We really need to be able to differentiate this sky from the hole, because everything's going to be black. Yeah, we could do like a sky like this, you know, the graduated line work sky. We can still use silver for fine liner and highlights. Or we can go in with the black Posca if that's what we wanted to do. And then that still leaves us this red to depict the soil, earth, whatever you want to call it. So now we have to decide, bearing in mind we're working in a square as well, so this has to be a decent size. And maybe you don't want it exactly straight up and down, because if you're struggling and fighting your way out of a hole, I don't think your hand would be perfectly straight up and down. I don't like the way I've put the thumb there. I want the thumb like all the way out here. I'm thinking about this, you know, making this a zombie or whatever. Maybe this is just like a commoner garden dude that's been buried alive or something, and they're just managing to escape out a hole. And I'm all up for giving them, you know, horrendous skin colours and bits of their fingers missing and stuff. Maybe I'm selling this dude short. Yeah, I think that's pretty good actually. That's kind of what I was going for. If we were going to have a light source, where would we want it? I think we'd probably want it coming from this direction, wouldn't we? Because that would give us some quite dramatic shadows here and down here. So then we'd have some purple. Obviously we'd do this with a ruler and make it nice. I wouldn't be messing about, and might as well use this here to add this in. So for our ground we would need to be able to distinguish, oh, it's a bit watery. We need to be able to distinguish between the stuff that's just been dug up, which I think honestly we would just, as long as we had a line here that broke, you know, like a horizon line. So as long as we brought this like most of the way across there, we wouldn't actually have to fill this bit in. We would just do I'm going to call it the eruption. We would just do the eruption. Using the gold for the hand's probably the worst idea just because of the nib that's on it. The other thing as well is if I was going to do a finger with a bone, I would need to use the silver for that. Okay, I'm going to have one last go at this hand in a big size, because I'm not very good at hands, and this is, if anywhere's going to need work, it's going to be here. I don't know why, but when I'm drawing fingers, I always seem to try and taper them for some reason, and there's absolutely no logical point to that. Well, again, we can use some hatch in here, you know, disguised as like hand lines. It's like natural, but I'm thinking about this. This is like a normal living person's hand. This person's hand's probably not going to be that fleshy. Yeah, that's a bit better. I think I could even come up and in a bit more, like here, maybe. Yeah. Okay, if I do this one as a finished drawing, I am going to have to like really work on my thumb game, I think. But yeah, overall as an idea, I'm quite satisfied with that. And the fact that I've got colours and stuff sorted out as well makes me kind of happy. So that's that. What is the date today? Okay, so on to our next box. Oh, we've got a little bit of ghost in there. That's okay though. See, that was actually really fun. I had fun doing that. I enjoyed that. I like this because we had a prompt as well though. So we'll chuck all that in there. Now, Sketchbox is the one that doesn't have a prompt with it. So we've just got all this stuff. Yeah, so we've got the transparent titanium white, and that's, so basically we could use this as a vehicle for some of these powders. I feel like there's so much that we could do with this. So my favourite paper for this kind of thing is the Artful Watercolor Paper, and it's just because it's in A4 format and it's not a fortune, and it's got quite a nice texture to it as well. So that's what we're going to do for this little test. I'm just going to take my sketchbook out the way. I'm a wee bit scared in case something happens to it. But yeah, it makes me wonder if, you know, it might be an idea to, you know, if we were going to do something with this, to just wet the paper, you know, be quite generous with it, splodge down some of our powders, see what happens, and then try and, you know, with a fine liner or something, try and create a picture out of it. That might be quite fun. So I'm just going to see what happens here. I'm a wee bit wary of these, I'm not going to lie. Look at the colours in that. Oh my god. Because they do say they're made up of different pigments. That is so much fun. Oh my goodness. What about up here on this side? Oh my goodness me. Look at that. That's a flower in itself. That is actually a flower. Oh. Yeah, I think that's an amazing idea. Like, I actually do. Here's the navy blue. We maybe do it in slightly more controlled areas, you know, a little bit at a time with the water. Look at that! So I've just lifted some of that, but what I can do now is, I know this is still damp, but I'm very wary of time here. But look, we could make that into some sort of trippy plant in itself. Now you can see obviously that's bled out a little bit because this is damp, but you see where I'm going with this. You know, we could start our own little forest, or, you know, bit of undergrowth here. Look at the colour of that green. Like, I really like this idea just because it's unpredictable and you don't know where you're going till you get there. But look at this already, like, I like it. I wonder if we can just, yeah, we totally can. Look, I'm just going to make this into like a little shrubby type thing here. Not a shrubbery per se. Look at the green coming through because it's mixing with the, oh yeah. Now the question is, what is this pink thing up here? It might be like a hanging plant of some description. You know, with something like this on this side, we could use our fine liner to pick out petals and things once it's dry. Right, I am totally up for that and I'm satisfied. I don't need to go anywhere near my sketchbook for this. And I actually really like this just the way it is. So yeah, I'm gonna even just sign that and hang it up somewhere. Alright, so the next one we've got is the Paleteful pack. And the items that came in the box were this mixed media board as a vellum surface, so it's smooth. I've never used this before, so I'm quite excited about it. I do like the Strathmore stuff. They've given us a brush, which is a number 6 round, which is a Princeton Heritage round. It's not very exciting, but at least we've got a paintbrush. And this water-soluble pencil from Stabilo, and it's blue. So I think that might be our sketching stroke fine liner type pencil. And in addition to that, they also gave us a set of 10 Neocolors, which are water soluble wax crayons. I know that sounds a bit crazy, but they're really good fun. So I think for this, I'm going to check out what the prompts are, because they do provide 4 prompts in this box, and it's supposed to be one for each week of having the box, because each box comes on a monthly basis. So interestingly, the prompts are mountains, broken, moon and bear. I think we could do like an entire landscape on one of these, because these boards are a reasonable size, and I think we could incorporate all of these. I don't think that would be too overly ambitious. So, okay, I'm going to be cheating a little bit because I'm going to have a full set of, not a full set, I'm going to have a larger set of these Neocolors, which is absolutely fine, like, you know. And I'm going to have this as my pencil that I can also dilute out if I so desire. As I say, it's an aquarelle pencil. Right, yeah, let's switch to the sketchbook and see if we can incorporate all of these things into one thing. I'm thinking quite a simple design with layers. I'm thinking layers. So, moon in the background. So let's stick them in there. Let's just get this sectioned off a little bit. Big moon in the background. Mountains. Maybe there's a path. Maybe there's a path. Right, yeah, there's a path. Don't know where it's going. But maybe it's a rocky precipice type path. And maybe it swings round here into the foreground. Oh, yeah, and in the foreground, not too much in the foreground, I don't want this right at the edge of the picture, but maybe there's some sort of rope bridge here and it's broken. Yeah, okay, the bridge is broken, so we need to move that slightly further in there so that we can see that there's a big drop and that it is in fact broken. So yeah, right, so that needs to go back the way, so the path actually needs to come more like down towards us, and then we can have the break there. That would work. So that would be broken, and then basically all we need to do is put some sort of ledge in somewhere, and then we can have our bear standing on the ledge. Do bears stand up on their hind legs, don't they? Like they stand like a human, like a biped sometimes. I have to practice my bear silhouettes here. I might have to look those up again. Bears not a thing, obviously not indigenous to Scotland. We do not have bears in Scotland. Do you know what's really cute? I like sun bears. They're cute. I'm sure they're not cute if you were to like be close to one, but they look cute. Yeah, because they've got little faces. Oh, they're so cute. I love a sun bear. This one's sitting like a little person. Okay, I don't. Right, I'm getting a bit carried away myself here. We're not going to be in that much detail. Now, if we were really clever, yeah, because like there's loads of action going on here. So maybe we have the higher mountain at this side. Still have the still have the mountain coming in front of the moon. Oh, maybe there's a cave. This is starting to look a bit like the ink tense drawings I did of the bit in the Imaginarium. Some of you will remember those. But what I was thinking was if there was a cave in the mountain, in one of the bigger mountains, then there would be a ledge out the front somewhere, and we could have our bear friend standing. No, because then it would be really small. Do you know what? I just want a dirty, great big bear, like, coming towards us, like ears and like face and like, oh, the big fat bear leg at the back. Do they have like big? They do have big feet, don't they? It's like big, and they've got great big shoulders. I know that because I always think like I would love to see a bull and a bear standing side by side just to compare their shoulders because they have both got massive shoulders. So yeah, again, we could maybe like we could have some highlights, you know, like some moonlights on his ears. So we need to decide where the bear's going because I kind of want him front and centre now. Oh, God. And maybe he's coming towards the camera and the moon's on this side. So I'm just doing this for placement here. So if we have the moon there, and that means the light source is coming that way, so we could have some highlights down this side. So that would depict his shape, which would be fine. And technically, well, he can just be standing on a little bit all on his own. Path could come from up here, couldn't it? And then it could weave its way around. Okay, so there maybe the bend's there, and it's this section here where the bridge is. I wouldn't have to do it in too much detail if it was there as well. Okay, let's think about this bridge section. There would be 2 posts. One would imagine. And then maybe this comes out a little bit. I'll give it an irregular edge. So yeah, this would be the kind of cliff bit. And we want, no, I don't want that protruding actually because we want this to be hanging this way. It's broken. Maybe we have a little broken plank there hanging off. And then maybe this is like swinging in the wind a little bit. But then we have to show where it was going, which is over here. Now we'll not be able to see the broken bit on this side because of the viewpoint. And then, well, we can make that come down and round, something like that. So let's just let's do a big mock-up now. I think I'm going to go with this configuration. I think this one works better. So we'd have our moon here. I've got this overwhelming urge to look up reference images of Baloo the bear from Disney. Oh, I don't think that's going to work very well. See, now he looks kind of like a spider to me, just with some legs missing. Like that? Oh, that comes really, that's a really severe angle. Maybe not as much as that. Maybe there? I suppose as long as I put the nose and where the eyes are. So yeah, to think about colour now, we can use this pencil if we wanted a bit more of a delicate background because the nail colours can be quite bright. But we could use this to provide us with some sort of background colour. So I'm trying to map out colour here, not necessarily the fact that I'm going to use the pencil. So I was thinking maybe, you know, like this dark Prussian blue colour, and we could maybe incorporate a little bit of purple as well for the, you know, the different facets of this sort of colour here. Just to give us this differentiation. Or maybe even we would use that for the path, I would imagine. You're thinking about it more as fresh dirt rather than like mountainous or rock. Yeah, that would be a better idea. So we'd use that for our path. And if we wanted to, like, we could have a bit of a pop of colour. Again, you can mix these and layer these. So I'd maybe have like just a wee bit of greenery, maybe just, you know, every now and then. Okay, so yeah, there's another one if you like that idea. I'm quite into that idea too. The fact that my Smarty Pants have got all the prompts in one is beside the point, obviously. So yeah, actually really excited about Palettefull, and that's the first time because I was bitterly disappointed with the December box. Like I really was. I was a bit crestfallen. So that's really nice to have something that's got a bit more fun to it. Our next one was the art snacks, and it came with this Fabriano toned paper. Ideal for dry techniques apparently. So I haven't actually looked at this, like I said, it's actually still in the in the cellophane. Fabriano paper has a good reputation. I've used a couple of different types of it. It's not something I use regularly, but the experiences I've had have been fairly good. So yeah. Oh, look at the colour of this paper. It's lovely. Well, there you go. That gives us a hint. Again, with Art Snacks, you don't get a prompt. So this is the colour of the paper that we're working with. And let's see what's in the little zippy bag. I love these little zippy bubble wrap bags. They're so cute. So there is a kneaded eraser, a Prismacolor one, which I'm not going to open. I'll stick that in the stash shop. So yeah, okay. We've got, oh my goodness, this is a Zebra 2B mechanical pencil. It's got a really weird lead on it. It's kind of like flat. Okay, you can see that okay. It's really, really strange. So we will be using that as our sketching pencil. But we've got a set of Pigma Microns, but these aren't just any Pigma Microns, they are actually grey. There is a light grey one and there's dark grey ones. Now I'm not sure how this is going to show up on this paper, and this is one of the things that I'm just going to test out. Obviously I haven't done anything with this. I wasn't expecting this box at all. And I had a bit of unboxing burnout, if I'm honest, which is why I never filmed it as an unboxing video. So here's the light grey. Oh, that's delicate. You can hardly see that. Oh, that could give you some really subtle... You guys aren't even going to be able to see that. Okay, if you can spot the Pigma Micron, then you get a prize. It's actually here. On the camera. Okay, so we've got a good set of sizes there, and I actually really like that on that paper. Let me get the light grey one again. Right, you ready? Can you see me? Just and no more. Look at the width of that, that's crazy. Yes, that's quite interesting. Oh, that's fun. So you've got a thick edge and a thin edge to give you varying line widths. So that's the kind of thing you could actually use and incorporate into your artwork rather than just use it as your undersketch. You know, you could utilise that, especially when you're working with pastels. So let's see what these are going to look like. Sennelier pastels. I think that's how you pronounce it. I think they're French. Sennelier. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Sennelier. They might not be French actually. Oh, do you know what's super exciting? These are made in Mauritius. That for those of you that have been around for quite a while, Mauritius has a very special place in my heart. So this is extra exciting, and that's kind of made me like. And these colours, this is Mauritian sea right here. I think I just need to go and get some of my my honeymoon photos out and just do something like that. That's amazing. I love Mauritius. Look, these colours are just beautiful, and these pastels are so soft. Yeah, totally went off track there. If they're made in Mauritius, they do speak... they don't actually speak French in Mauritius, it's Creole. But they do speak French as well. So soft! Oh my god! Oh, I'm in love. I'm in love. It's so messy, but I'm in love. And this paper is taking this like a boss. Something that I've learned about pastels in the not too distant past is that you really need to layer them up. And I don't think I'm going to have to do that much layering on this paper. Look at my fingers. Look how vibrant that is. That is absolutely crazy. Oh, I'm in love. See if I'd known these were made in Mauritius. Let's see what happens if we want to layer them up or mix them, blend them. These are going to blend like crazy. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I am going to go and dig out some of my honeymoon pictures because I took a lot of photographs of the sea. Just because it is absolutely amazing. Mauritius is one of the prettiest places I've ever been to in my life, bar none. I was absolutely gobsmacked by it, and the Mauritians are some of the friendliest people I have ever met in my life as well. They're super, super nice people. The only downside about Mauritius is everything's really expensive, like it's super expensive. Unless you want to drink their rum or the beer that comes in the island, and eat fish that's literally whipped out the sea onto your plate. If you want anything outside of what's indigenous, then you will pay through the nose for it. I am absolutely in love with these pastels. I'm in love with this paper. I'm in love with what I've just done here, and I've literally just smooshed all the colours together just for fun. Look at that. I want to see, once I've wiped my fingers, if these fine liners are going to go over the top of this. Yeah, being soft pastel does come off really easily. There's no scrubbing or anything required. Right, let's just see. Oh yeah! Now obviously we're going to have to watch our nibs and make sure that we don't get a build up, because it is a powder. You know, the pastel is a powder. It is going to build up on the nib of your fine liner. But I think as long as you use it in short bursts and clean them off regularly, you could add detail in on top of that with absolutely no problem at all. But yeah, if you wanted to do that kind of shell, or, you know, like make up your own type of shell, I don't know. An exotic one maybe. But you could use these colours quite easily to create something really, really nice there. Or, you know, like a mother of pearl type look, you know? Just sit here messing about. Like, no, I'm not even going to bother talking to you guys now. I'm quite content just to sit here and make a mess, and yeah. Anyway, like, you get the idea. You know where I'm going with that. So that's another option. And obviously we've got the... back to this again. We've got the fine liners to help us out as well, to create a bit of definition, or if we want to add in some sort of detail. This paper is lovely as well. I wasn't expecting it to take the pastel as well as it does, because it doesn't feel very grippy, like it doesn't feel very toothy, but it's managing fine. These pastels are very, very soft though, like they're super soft, so that helps as well. Holy mackerel. Oh, I've got some designer... Oh dear, I've got some designer pastel dust. I should be able to just rub that out. That shouldn't be a problem. It's getting a bit messy here in the cave again. That's two videos in the space of a month where the desk's been a bit of a riot in here, isn't it? Right, the last one, which is probably... I think I'm just going to use this. I've got a single page in here. Yeah. The last thing I want to do, this is more of a curiosity thing rather than planning out what I'm drawing. I've got these acrylic paints from an old up crate, and I actually would quite like to do like a monochromatic something or other with them. I'm interested in how this buff titanium colour is going to mix with these, so that's something that I just want to test out. And although this isn't ideal in terms of paper or whatever, it's fine. It'll be okay. So that's I'm sure it's called buff titanium. Yeah. And then we've got this this kind of like mid-grey, neutral grey middle. It's as descriptive as it needs to be. Okay, so obviously the black's going to be, well, one would hope, the black is going to be black, because we did go through this before. It has been a while since I have, since I've painted with these, because see, this was like the November up crate, and November seems like a very, 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 very long time. And the buff titanium on its own, it is quite an interesting colour. I want to see what happens if I mix it with some grey. That's not that inspiring. I was kind of hoping it was going to be a little bit warmer than that. Maybe if we scoop up some more of this. So now my next question is, because that was a neutral grey. Yeah, I'll be interested to see what happens if I take the tiniest smidge of black into this. Is it going to take us back to grey? You know, are we going back here? I don't know what I was hoping for. I think I was hoping it would maybe head into brown a little bit more, just because of the fact that it's buff titanium and not white, but it's really not. See, when I see monochromatic colours like this, I kind of imagine, like, I don't even know the word for it, but like impressionistic portraits, you know, where the shapes matter more than the actual detail. So like, you know, the bridge of the nose and the brow are very prominent. A bit like a statue, you know, if a light was to shine on a statue, that's kind of what this puts me in mind of. So maybe I need to be making a bust here. Again, I'm not really going to use the black though, am I? So like, say you were to start with, like, so you'd have like the outline of a nose perhaps, and then you would see like the brow line, and obviously underneath then, like, you know, you would start working some contours and things. You know, you would see that there's the top lip. and you could use your light and your dark colours accordingly. So for example, under the eye socket there, obviously that area is going to be a lot darker, and possibly under there as well. And you could just like block it in, but leave it blocked in, if you see what I'm saying. Does that make sense? You know, so that you had, you had the full sort of portrait experience. I would have to do a little bit of research if I was going to do something like that, because obviously I am not a human portrait painter by any stretch of the imagination, nor would I want to be really, but I would be open to doing something like that as as an exercise. And I think probably that would be the most likely scenario. The other thing you could do as well, and these colours lend itself perfectly, is like a stormy beach scene. Down, down, down. Yeah, so there would be your sand, and then you could have some really like nasty, ugly looking clouds going on there, and maybe even like shunt in a little bit of black if that's what you wanted to do. But you could do what you wanted with that, and then you could use the mid-tone grey to maybe have some rocks, on your beach, and maybe the water's kind of like tempestuous, So that's like the two places I'm going with these colours. I would love to know your thoughts on that as well. As I say, that doing something like that would be a lot of work for me, and it would be a learning experience. It wouldn't be a finished piece of art. The landscape thing would be fun, and I would really use my imagination if I was going to do something like that. I'm quite interested to see how this is drying on the paper, because the other thought that I had as well was to do an animal portrait and have just use the grey and the black and keep the buff titanium, and use the buff titanium mixed in just for the pupil, for the eye and the iris, and keep the rest of it just black and grey. So that's another thought that I had as well. Anyway, there we go. I'm really glad that satisfied my curiosity. Guys, I hope that you have found this useful today. Just to show you the different ways in which you can go about deciding what you want to draw. Now you can see for me it's a very sporadic and it's a very disjointed process. I do not go through a set process when I'm deciding to paint something. I just let my little brain go for it and arrive at some sort of conclusion. I think the thing is though, if you do arrive at an idea, and I'm going to use this hand situation, if you do arrive in an idea, it is important to go through the steps and refine that idea down to the best it can be. And that's why these steps are really important, because I started from here and ended up here, so you can see that transition has happened, and that's quite important. So if that's given you any sort of inspiration or help in terms of planning out what you want to, when you get a prompt, for example, or if you've got a set of supplies that you want to use, I hope that's been helpful for you today. I've had really good fun. It's time for you now to get down into the comments, and I want you to tell me the one that you would like to see me do most. On Sunday, I am going to look through all the responses, and the 3 most popular I will put in a poll on the community tab and on Facebook as well, and you guys can vote on which one you want to see as a complete video, and we do the complete piece. Not to say that I might not do the other ones in my own time. As you all know, I'm trying to make time for myself as well. So if I do any of them extracurricularly, then I shall put them on my Instagram for you so that you can see them too. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks very much for joining me. Please stay safe, take care of each other, and I'll see you back in the cave on Sunday for another video. So have a great day, everyone, and bye for now.